All right, what is going on, everybody? We got a bit of a nostalgia trip here. This is a pre recorded video for full transparency, but this is going to go out on Christmas Eve. And I thought I'd go back and my original thought for this video was to go back and pick my favorite Christmas Day games that I watched personally, like in the moment. But then I started looking through them and I started remembering. And the one that always stuck out to me, and perhaps not just the best Christmas Day game of my lifetime, but one of the best games just period of all time was 2016 Warriors versus Cavs. Um, the Cavs had just won the NBA championship the season before. Um, the Warriors have KD now. Um, the Cavs won the game, 109, 108, in a tough game. Um, And yeah, I just want to talk about it. I just watched the highlights of it. I did not realize in my preparation that there was a full 1 hour and 30-minute video of this game that the NBA had posted. Um, if I had the time, I would love to watch it. Um, I just don't have the time. But if you have the time, I suggest watching it. I'll link it somewhere, whether it's in the description or I'll put a card up if I can. Um, but yeah, just an amazing game. If you like the video and like what I have to say, hit the thumbs up button. If you have your own opinions or your own memories of this game or any other Christmas day game, leave them down below. And if you just like the vibes and you're in the holiday spirit, maybe consider subscribing. That'd be pretty cool. Um, anyways, man, I'm gonna talk about the stats and everything, but I'm just gonna talk about some of the implications, some of the things I noticed, and all that stuff. I watched these highlights, and I remember even watching this game in the moment in 2016, I was biting my nails. Um, Obviously, I wanted Steph Curry to win. I'm a big Steph Curry fan. Um, but looking back on it, just watching the highlights right now before I started recording this video, I have the biggest smile on my face. This game was so fun. So many. This is almost 10 years ago now, but man, this game was something, man. Um, Kevin Durant's first Christmas Day game with the Warriors, first of many. Um, he had 36, 15 rebounds in 38 minutes. He shot 2 for 8 from three and 11 for 23 field goal overall. Um, but man, I know this is a decade ago, and I'm probably gonna say this about almost every player that was involved in this game. But man, Katie was moving different. He was moving different, man. He had some dunks where I was like, you don't see that anymore. You don't see that these days in 2024, 2025 almost, you don't see that stuff. He was cocking it back, he was throwing it down. It was just incredible, and it reminded me what a talent prime KD used to be. He was just so electric and he could really really do it all. And yeah. Same goes for Draymond Green, who had 16, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a typical Draymond Green game. Didn't make a three. 6 for 7, not 6 for 7, 7 for 9 overall from field goal. Um, and he had some dunks. It was like I haven't seen that in about a decade. He had some crazy dunks. He had some great plays too. Um, yeah, and just let me just go through the starting lineup for the Warriors and the Cavs real quick, just so we just get through this. Zaza Pachulia um, was the starting center for the Warriors. Obviously Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the backcourt. Um, for the Cavaliers, you had Kyrie Irving, you had DeAndre Liggins, you had LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson. Um, Top scorers for them were the big three of Kyrie Irving with 25, LeBron James with 31, and Kevin Love with 20. Man, oh man. And I just want to throw this in. here at the end. Not the end. Here at the right here, right now. Um, you'll never guess who was on the Cavaliers bench. He did not play a single minute. DNP coach's decision. Um, Freaking Mike Dunleavy Jr. was on the Cavs bench during this Christmas Day game. For those who do not know, Mike Dunleavy Jr. is now the GM for the Warriors. And when I saw that, I bursted out laughing. I had completely forgotten that Mike Dunleavy was on this Cavaliers team. Um, this is Jones, right? This is James Jones. James Jones, who is also the GM for the Suns, which Kevin Durant plays for now. Um, so many familiar faces in this game that I look back on almost a decade later now. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's here. This guy's doing that. Blah 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 blah. Richard Jefferson is now an ESPN commentator for the NBA. um, Speaking of Richard Jefferson had some crazy dunks this game. He hit a dunk on KD, but the most well-known one is the dunk on Klay Thompson. Man, oh man! If you don't watch this game, go watch that highlight. That highlight is insane. It's just incredible. Just an incredible highlight. Um, yeah, man, and you got Channing Frye, 10 points. Richard Jefferson at 8 points, by the way. Um, Channing Frye, podcaster now. Iman Shumpert, rapper. Um, J.R. Smith, golf player and semi podcaster. He did not play this game, DNP. Um, yeah, man. This cast team is full of guys, and you're like, these are all very familiar names and very, very memorable names. Um, but just to stay on the Cavs here for a little bit, Kevin Love. I think people forget how good Kevin Love used to be because he is kind of washed now. But Kevin Love was one of them dudes. Especially people obviously didn't watch him when he was on the Timberwolves because it was the Timberwolves and it was the early 2000s and like nobody really cared about the Timberwolves after Kevin Garnett. But him on the Cavs, he had a flamethrower. He would rise and fire and just do the thing. It was incredible to watch. Um, Tristan Thompson, consummate professional, great rebounder, had some hella great rebounds, had some good dunks this game. Um, and Kyrie Irving, man. Um, Kyrie Irving. I was watching this game and I was like, Kyrie's game is really timeless. Like he might be a bit slower now in 2024, but man, does he play almost the exact same way? Like obviously the moves might be a little more methodical now and a little more thought out, but man, oh man, he plays almost the exact same way, and his game is really timeless because it's just all skill. The athleticism is very minimal. Obviously, you always want to be the fastest when completing the moves he completes and the touches he gets. But man, he just plays the exact same way, and it's really timeless and it's really incredible. And I just want to tip my hat to Kyrie because it was really good. Um, yeah, this is a really good Cavs team, man, and they lost to the Warriors. This after this they lost in the finals because they had KD, but they won this game. Let's talk about the Warriors. Elephant in the room. Steph Curry, terrible game. Notorious for having bad Christmas Day games. Notorious for having bad Christmas Day games, and notorious for having bad games when there's like a record or like something that's preemptive in the game that's going to happen. Like it's a good game. Um, yeah, bad game. 15 points. Um, 4 for 11 overall, 2 for 7 from 3-point range. Klay Thompson, 24 points. Um, Klay Thompson, man, it is just such a shame that Klay Thompson was robbed of his athleticism and his defense with the Achilles and the ACL or MCL back to back years. Because man, Klay Thompson used to clamp up. I always remembered it as like he was a defensive stopper, but man, he played hella good defense on Kyrie this game. And it was just such a shock to watch it in 2024 because this was Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson now that oh yeah, it's just Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson back then, this was a he was in top 3 shooting guards conversation like of that era. And it was just so incredible to watch him this game in the moment and rewatching the highlights. Such an incredible player. He was just robbed of he had like maybe 4 prime years left before he tore his MCL or ACL in the finals. In 2018, I believe. Yeah, that was 2018. Man, he was just robbed. This Klay Thompson was a marvel to watch. Um, he was one of them guys, man. This is why, not this game in particular, but this is when one of those games where Steph was having a bad one and Klay picked up the slack and had 24. Obviously, missed more than half of his threes. His field goal overall wasn't bad. Had some great layups. His layup package, it was very boring, but man, did it go in. He doesn't drive to the basket like he does. Obviously, he doesn't want to drive to the basket anymore because he tore his ACL on a drive to the basket. But Klay Thompson used to really get in that paint and get it in the bucket, man. Crazy stuff. Already talked about KD and Draymond, how they look so different now versus back then. But KD at 36, it was a I would say not a loud 36, but a quiet 36, just doing his thing. Um, Other people on the team here, going through the Warriors. David West, shout out David West, Warriors legend David West, held on right into the end. Did not have a great game this game. He played 14 minutes, 5 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Pretty boring game. Um, no one really else had a great game. It was just the big three and Draymond. What do we got? We got Andre Iguodala, podcaster now. Terrible game, 0 points in 25 minutes. Um, Young Kevon Looney, 5 minutes played, 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. Oh, this is a funny one. Patrick McCaw. Shout out if you remember Patrick McCaw. 3-time champion, back to back to back, with 2 with the Warriors, 1 with the Raptors. Um, how did he play? How did he play 0 minutes? Why is this logged? He played 0 minutes, 0 points, 0 rebound. He had a Tony Snell game. Wow, I don't even, why'd they count that? Just count it as the DNP. Did he like check in like the last second? I don't even remember that. Um, we got JaVale McGee here, Warriors legend, Lakers legend, uh, former or at the time not yet LeBron teammate, but in 2024 former LeBron teammate, in JaVale McGee, Lakers legend too. Sean Livingston, mid range demon, uh, wasn't a mid range demon this game. 0 for 2, 2 points, 3 assists. He set some good screens, and that was about it. I think he's like he's in the front office for the Warriors now. So there you have it, man. Keep it in the family. Um, Another Warriors legend, um, Ian Clark. Remember that name? I think about Ian Clark all the time. What a player, man, Ian Clark. 4 points this game. He was just out there in 9 minutes, and got to show respect to the Cavs legend, to the Warriors legend, Anderson Varejao, Brazilian legend. Did not play this game, but he has played for both the Cavs and the Warriors, and yeah, I think he's in the Warriors. Like he's an ambassador for the Warriors and the Cavs. He's a basketball ambassador overall. Great guy. Um, we can look at some team stats here, but this is just a nostalgia trip for me. This was a great game in the moment. I'll say it again. And yeah, just an all-time great game. Period. Like if you just want to go through regular season games, this has to be in the top 10. Um, of even of the era of the decade 2010 and just maybe of the 2000s period. Um, but yeah, the Warriors shot it better at 48. Cavs only shot 38. Um, that's field goal, mind you. 3 point, the Cavs actually shot it better at 34%. Um, Free throw, the Cavs shot it worse than the Warriors, more than 10% worse. Um, Defensive rebounds, the Warriors had them beat, but the Cavs had the Warriors beat with 18 offensive rebounds. Assists are similar. The Cavs had way more steals. This game was full of shenanigans. I forgot how many shenanigans were in this game. There were a lot of bad calls against both teams. There were a lot of defensive calls. Like the Cavs players tried to take some charges, and I don't know if they should have gotten them. There were some fouls by the Warriors that probably should have been called, but they didn't. This was the era when they actually used to let them play a little bit. Now it's a little different, but this is one of those games where they're actually playing. And the game. Not that I want to say the game was different back then, but just watching it and thinking back on it, both these teams were like team oriented teams. Like it wasn't just one guy doing all the work and then there was the number two. Everybody was getting a little bit of the sugar, you know. Everybody was getting a chance at least. Like everybody shot the ball at least once or twice, see if you could get a rhythm going. Um, yeah, such a different game. Just even a few years ago, such a different game. Both team oriented teams. The defense was incredible, like I hinted at. The some calls might should have been called or not been called, but this is the era where teams still play defense a little bit, and the refs weren't as strict with the rules. You know, the Warriors had 21 turnovers. The Cavs had 12 points conceded off turnovers. The Warriors had 21. The Cavs had 14. The Warriors had way more fast break points, and the Warriors had way more points in the paint. Um, and of course, it can't be a Warriors Cavs game without one technical foul each. And the largest lead for the Cavs was 2, and the Warriors 14. Um, but yeah, this was a great game to watch. The highlights of I wish I knew that they had the full game highlights. I probably would have watched the full game, not even the highlights. They had the full freaking game. I would have watched it. But I encourage you all to watch it if you haven't watched it. And yeah, man, just a trip down memory lane. Just do something special. Um, Maybe do some of this in the future. I don't know. Christmas Day is kind of different. There's like MLK Day games. There's like Valentine's Day games, St. Patrick Day games. Like none of them really hit home like Christmas Day games. And I hope this year's games are good. Um, and yeah, nothing's gonna hit like nostalgia, and nostalgia is always the best medicine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are enjoying the holidays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. What I will say in rewatching these games is enjoy these games in the moment because they go by so quick, and then it's nostalgia, and then it's like a flashback or it's a rewind. You're like, man, the game was so different. But yeah, enjoy the games in the moment. Um, Happy holidays and all that, and we will get back to the regular season after Christmas and after the New Year. So yeah, thank you for watching. Cheers.